Fantastic.
I'll probably dash out to the living room, make sure it's set up properly over there for the wife.
Go go.
All right, we are live. We are live. Hello, everybody who is already watching. It looks like
Good evening, interwebs.
the
Hello, hello.
the blogoblag.
So who have we got watching? Any illustrious notables?
John looks to be here. Elysian or
Hey,
sleep.
great, great. Welcome all. Okay, so we are live. We are back. Everyone is here. Can I get everyone on chat, or not? Excuse me, not on chat, but in the game here? Icy, Revolve. Can you guys just give me a testing 1, 2, 3? Icy, could you go first?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Great. Revolve. Ooh, he must have stepped away. Can I get um Kintaro? Can you give me a testing 1, 2, 3? I just want to make sure I've got your Discord levels set for everyone.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, nice and clean. Okay, cool. So that's just Revolver Octorok. I'm going to turn him up a little bit. And then we'll wait to make sure he's back at his desk before we kick into this good and proper.
All right, I'm here. I swear, everything's good.
Fantastic. Okay. And that'll be your test. I'm actually going to turn you up a little bit more just so I've got everyone here.
Yeah, I was gonna do
Okay.
the same thing on my side, so you were a little quiet
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still got to work on the levels for this new headset here.
Sure.
Yep, it's all good.
Sure. All right. Well, here we go. Good evening, Rifters, and welcome back to the Roleplaying Rats live stream and podcast. The game tonight is a tabletop role-playing game called Rifts, and the rule set is the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, aka Suede. Reprising their roles this week, we have Icy Macaw playing Tyler the Glitter Boy Pilot, Kintaro playing Slash the Mars Package Mercenary Soldier, and Revolver Octorok playing Graham the Leyline Walker. The Band of Misfits is misguided by yours truly, 5Zeth, the Game Master and erstwhile narrator. Thank you all for joining us. And if you're catching the podcast, thank you for tuning back in and downloading, liking, sharing, commenting, and doing all of those good things on your chosen platform. Last session, as they approached the 5,000-foot plateau of the mountain pass, they picked up a wideband distress call. A gang was at the gates of the North Pass to the barony of Pride's Shield. And without a moment's hesitation, Tyler took off at a sprint and Slash revved the rocket jets on his Flying Titan to recon and report. That Flying Titan can whip up an eyeball-crushing 400 miles per hour in the air. As the trio joined a swirling melee, they heard a baby crying in the cab of the burning truck. And then, disaster. A series of explosives rocked the mountain and brought a landslide crashing down. As the adventurers sought to control their adrenaline, the combatants, while digging themselves out and rescue the infant, the augmented sensor suites of the Glitter Boy picked up the sounds of more conflict at the main body of the refugee train back down the road. Our two power armored soldiers tried their best to get there in time while Graham tried to salvage what he could of a crumbling situation. The combat was meaningful and the finale was spectacular. I highly recommend visiting roleplayingrats.com to listen to the full episode or check it out on your preferred platform if you missed the live. And it is in the aftermath of this struggle that we now join our heroes. It's high noon in the northern pass above the barony of Pride's Shield. The clear blue sky is sullied by thick, oily smoke from the blazing hull of the truck in front of the village. Graham, you stand looking at the burning cab of the truck, the speaker broadcasting the voice of the screaming baby beginning to distort as the flames consume the machinery. You see the body of the bandit that fell across the crates begin to catch flame as well. And you notice a small teddy bear next to the front tire of the cab. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going through Graham's mind as we take in this scene? I've also dropped one in chat there, another little speed painting. I'm kind of a fan of these now.
Ooh.
Um, I think Graham he looks over that cab and looks and sees this teddy bear, and his very first thought is probably, to a little almost a shock, like to who does that belong? Uh, Especially when he thinks again, reminds himself that that crying is just a recording. This is probably just another part of that deception, except for the part where that bear belonged to somebody at some point. And what does that mean? Who could that have been, and what trouble are they in today?
Man, that's definitely a heavy pull. What trouble indeed. As you mull over the heavy weight on you that is now resting on Graham's mind, 100 yards back down the road, slash, you hover over a scene of, well, chaos. The two smaller trucks have blood leaking out of them, and one is missing the upper half of the cab, disintegrated by the Glitter Boy's boom gun. The truck that took the brunt of the blast is spilling fluid out of the front, components obviously ruptured by the shockwave. You've got a bird's eye view of Tyler quickly shoving the chest panels of his armor open, grabbing a container off its belt, and running to the prone refugee on the ground. There's a dead bandit in the road, forgotten behind the half circle of people. As you eye click the magnification up to 4x in your armor's HUD, you're pretty sure that the body Tyler is sprinting towards, the refugee in the center of the half circle, is the one who was asking for a break, the one who was walking with Graham. Can you tell us a little bit about what Slash makes of this scene as he's there hovering in the air?
So as he looks over the chaos, just kind of trying to figure out where he needs to get to first, he sees, the guy down on the ground. He was the leader of the group, yeah? So he's gonna fly down to that and see if he can assist Tyler in any way. Hey,
All right. I think that's great. I wouldn't say Steven was the leader, but he was definitely the spokesperson at last. At last report, he was definitely the one who spent the most time walking and talking with Graham. And you seem to recall vaguely that Graham may have felt that this refugee was maybe the head of the pack, could make something of himself. And with that, Tyler, the gyro jets on the back of your glitter boy whine lightly in the background, and they're still cooling from their attempt to balance your last shot despite the suit not being fully deployed for recoil damping. You can't really stop an automated system from automating. The refugees are in a loose half circle around you, with Sarah, the older woman you befriended, who lost her two daughters, crying at the front edge in the arms of a younger woman as you crouch over Stephen. There's a bullet wound in his back, and can you please kick off the dice rolling of our session with a healing roll to stop him from bleeding out as Sarah chokes out, Save him, Ty. Don't let him die because of me.
I don't think it was because of you, but I'll definitely get him fixed up. Give me just a second here. And I will do a healing check on him. Do I get any bonuses for like pulling, med kits out of the glitter boy to use for this?
Yeah, I believe there is a bonus for the the Glitter Boy pilot comes with a pretty robust med kit. Don't you have one of the robot kits? Or are you using a
Um,
traditional? I think that one's on you there.
I have the survival pack, and I don't know what exactly is in the glitter boy, or if there's anything additional. To be honest, so you can say, there's nothing there.
Well, no, I think the survival pack, that general, the sorry, brain fart, but that sort of all-in-one starter backpack
Yep.
has a med kit in there. I'm just not sure if that med kit provides a bonus or not.
Yep.
Can
A
we pull that up?
first aid kit with 3 uses.
Perfect. Okay.
And
It's a good
that
place to start.
does the first aid kit. 3 uses. See healing. Doesn't add additional, but I can use that there. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that, and if anything goes sideways with that, we are definitely going to redo that roll with a Benny. I think I need to have one more Benny as well.
Oh yeah, everyone should be starting with 3 at minimum. Does everyone have? Yeah, Slash, you're at 2, so let me drop one in for you.
Sweet, thank you, sir.
And Tyler, you're back up to 3.
All right. I'm immediately going to spend one of those because I want to see if I can get a raise on this. I succeeded, so I just got to take the better of the 2. Nope, I just get a 6. So I'll take I succeed at healing him. I'm good with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you definitely do. It's a gunshot wound with a healthy exit wound. You feel like it had to be some kind of oversized round. And that's like it's a almost a catastrophic injury. But you do manage to stop his bleeding and stabilize our dear friend Steven there. Can you give us a little snapshot as you're working or after you're working? You know, what's Tyler got running through his head here? We just came down off the higher firing boom gun. You haven't been able to do that for a few days, but now you have this traumatic situation where a friend was injured.
Oh yeah, Tyler is pissed. I mean, just straight up pissed. He's out and healing, Steven because he's like, okay, I got to get the refugees. So as soon as I know that Steven is back up to good, um I just look over, as Slash comes down. Slash, your responsibility are these. I've got that guy. And I sprint back to my glitter boy and I start running after that truck.
Okay.
It
All right. So we're gonna check with the hive mind here real quick. I believe only one semi truck got away, and that was after Slash shot at the driver. And the driver took some hits, fired back at Slash, and I believe it was just one rig that got away. Does that sound right to you guys?
that does.
Yeah, I evaded those shots, and yeah, they got away because he took my lasers like a champ and fired back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, Tyler doesn't know that because he was unconscious while all that was going on. So
Yep.
like when I tell you, I'm like, I'm going after that guy in that truck, and I just start sprinting.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's cool, man. So you're gonna get back up into that armor. Slash,
Real,
Tyler has made it pretty clear.
real,
What's up?
real quick, as he takes off, I'm gonna radio up to him. Hey, that guy in that cab, he took a hit like a champ. He's a little bit tougher than your normal guy. He's not just some bandit. So take it easy on it, or don't take it easy on him.
Well, quick question. As I'm getting suited up and getting in the glitter boy, uh, is he within range where I can get to him?
So the trucks were making up speed and it just was plowing through the little copse of trees. And so you don't think you can hear the truck engine anymore. So you'd have to get back in your glitter boy and run a sensor sweep really quick.
No, I was specifically asking Slash because he's
Ah,
obviously got more of a overview of it. So I was asking him specifically like, how close is he? Can I catch up to him?
I'm gonna shoot up into the sky real quick to see if I can still see him plowing through the trees.
Sure. All right. So Tyler's getting back in his glitter boy mountain up. You jump back up into the air. God, can you imagine the pressures on your body? I mean, going from 0 to 400. I wonder what the acceleration is on that.
That's got
Anyway,
to be ridiculous.
yeah, right. So you jet back up, and you can see on the far side of the copse of trees, because I assume you're just gonna keep going up until you can see over them.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you can see on the far side of that copse of trees, there look to be 3 sinkholes in the ground, and you see 2 of them open, but one of them has looks to be collapsed. And there's dust and smoke rising from that collapsed tunnel.
So would you say they're within range that he could catch up to him?
You can't see a truck. You can see churned up ground, and the line of trees lines up with that middle tunnel that's been collapsed, but you can't see a truck anymore. And that tunnel that looks too solid, even for a glitter boy to get through to chase down.
Well, I don't think we can catch the truck, Tyler, but I know where they went, so we can make our way over there once we get these refugees situated.
Uh, Tyler will just like pick his fist up and just like shake his fist of his glitter boy and be like, "Nah, we got more important things to do, I think." And I'll radio up to Graham because I know he was dealing with stuff, and I went unconscious for a while. Worth it, by the way. But uh, Graham, how are things up there? Do you need some help up there?
We're doing just fine. Don't got any more bandits to worry about. Cab's just smoking. I'll be on
Is
my
the
way
kid
back
okay?
now. There's no kid. That was a ruse.
Oh, I don't like these bandits at all.
No, they deserve bad things.
Well,
Yeah,
turns
well,
out
I
I don't
think
got too
I
many
think
good things as bandits anyway. How are our refugees? I'm getting the truck been back over there right now.
all right, I think we're gonna start fixing some stuff up. I'm gonna start getting um wait for Graham to get back, and then I think we can set up kind of what we want to do to watch out, make sure no bandits are here, and then I think I need to start fixing up some vehicles, and we need to keep moving.
Sure. So it looks like there's, Graham, as you're heading back and you hear Tyler over the comms, you're pretty sure that if the trucks go slowly, they can get around. There was a lip of the road that was left outside of the landslide, and the slope on the far side of that again wasn't dangerous. It was just a little steep. So if the trucks go slowly, they should all be able to get around that landslide and continue to the village. And you can see the gates as you turn around to head back down. On the other side of the burning truck, you can see the gates of the North Pass, what you assume to be the North Pass. And I think my only other note here would be that there are, just for your reference, Tyler, as you're interested in the safety here, there are, we'll say, 4 other refugees. Either, maybe there's a couple older guys and maybe a couple wounded soldiers who are with your group, who have rifles and look like they know how to use them, who could be worth a damn.
Okay, yeah. If there's anybody who looks like they've been hurt at all, I'll use my healing my med kit on them, and that'll be the priority. After that, my priority is getting the couple vehicles that I blew the snot out of so they stop leaking fluid and can drive until we can get them fixed up a little better. So that's kind of Tyler's priority right now.
Now,
Sure.
I'll interject real quick. Tyler, after traveling with Graham, you would know that Graham does have access to a healing power. So you wouldn't need to use the charges on your med kit unless somebody was like in imminent danger of death, like you previously did already with Stephen.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so um if they can wait
Hmm.
until Graham gets here, then with Tyler knowing that, then I would just wait for Graham to get
Well,
down, and I'd radio to him and say, "Hey, we got a couple people hurt that are going to need some healing when you get down here."
I'll save you that, actually, Tyler. And this, as you go to click the radio on, Graham, you just hear the static of someone trying to broadcast, and Slash, as you're coming back down out of the air, you hear the same, that click and that white noise. Tyler, you're looking around and you realize that there aren't actually any fresh wounded. There's the body outside of what was the half circle of refugees. He's, being kicked by a child right now, and that's a bandit's body. And Tyler was the only person who was actually wounded with a gunshot wound, and he was shot in the back with the exit wound in his chest. So
Stephen,
you
you mean?
know, Stephen, yes, excuse me. And you do recall what Sarah said about don't let him die because of me. So you presume that he jumped in front of her, but you're not sure why he's the only person wounded. You heard gunshots. You're just not sure what happened. None of you were there.
Yep. And in the in between, yeah, I think I'd look at Sarah as I'm starting to pull together and look around at what I need to fix up from a vehicle perspective. Sarah, what happened, by the way?
Well, it wasn't pretty. Graham took off on a truck to go and help you two at the front, like a good man should. And Steven kept us moving forward, just like Graham asked him to. But one of the kids was smelling it, and then all the kids were smelling it. And then these men, we thought they were demons, burst out of the ground on either side of the road. And then one of them was shouting, and they were all shooting in the air, and they started taking everything we had. They kicked us off of the trucks, the elderly, the wounded, and then they took our vehicles, and they weren't trying to hurt nobody, but Steven made a move for one of them, and they started to rough me up and try to take my mom's necklace, and they shot him because they just but but then the boss, I guess he was wearing this bone white armor. He shot the guy who shot Steven. He's in the road over there, and he was wearing some of that coalition armor, but it was white, not black. And she breaks back down into tears at the end of that, and you're not sure you can get much more out of her. But I did drop a photo into the chat, and recall she mentioned bone white, not black.
Okay. Well, I'll look at Sarah too and see if she's still wearing the necklace or not. Um,
I presume as she was speaking, you may have glanced down, and she does still have the necklace. Yes.
okay, good. And then is anybody else hurt in the group?
No, no. As far as the refugees go, Stephen was the only casualty.
All right. I'll hearing that, if Slash was close enough, I won't worry about telling him, but I'll relay that I heard the bone white armor, kind of what that looked like and what Sarah told me, so they know what was going on, and that we have a lot of the shots were just shooting in the air to get people in line, and we have one dead bandit here. Well, one that got shot by the boss. Probably a couple more in the light trucks that I blew away.
Yeah. As you all start to take a tally there, you're pretty sure there's about 7 bodies, maybe 7 bandits, I should say. We're not counting Stephen.
Okay, yeah.
All right, and then from there, I'll just wait till Graham gets down.
Sure. So Slash, I presume you'll come back down out of the air once you and Tyler kind of come to the consensus that you can't track anyone down through a collapsed tunnel. Slash. Did we lose him?
He might have stepped away for just a second.
Sure, that's all right. All right, so Graham, you're working your way back down the mountain, and you come back up to the group, and you see Steven there, bandaged. It looks like he's been stabilized. The glitter boy is speaking to the refugees, and Slash is coming back down out of the air. What's your move as you recognize that it is Steven on the ground?
We're gonna, walk up over to Steven, and I think, what state is he in right now? Is he conscious? Is he unconscious?
He is still unconscious. He's been stabilized. If we follow the rule book there, he's been healed from, stopped from bleeding out.
Okay, I
So at
think.
this point, you wouldn't be stabilizing wounds. You'd be bringing him back up.
Okay, yeah, no, we'll definitely use the healing power on him. I think we'll, sort of kneel down at his side, sort of pop a down on the knees next to him, be like, "What fool thing did you get into?" Even though he's, totally not able to hear us. And I would like to use the healing power.
Okay, fantastic. So what does that look like from, again, spell trappings, because this is what are the visual cues for your healing power?
I think that, you know, I think it's definitely sort of a lay on hand situation. Range is touch anyway, so of course there's definitely some physical component there.
Sure.
And I think it more or less speeds up the body. So I think the only thing that you might notice if you were looking very closely is just uh, sort of maybe just a rush or a flush across the skin. I don't think it's super obvious. I don't think there's like a glow or anything like that. I think it's just tapping into something and speeding up the body's process like massively.
Okay. Fantastic. So go ahead and give us that roll, and let's see if this cast is effective.
I would say so.
Yeah. Was that 2 raises?
That was
Yep.
a raise and a raise, yeah.
Wow. So for those listening, he rolled a total of 13, which is quite impressive. And so that is 13. So success, raise. So that is 2 raises on the die. And so with 1 raise, it removes 2 wounds. It doesn't say anything about additional raises. And so I think as long as you don't object there, Graham, I think we'll remove 3 wounds, and it like essentially just snaps him back to perfect health. How do you feel about that?
I'm down with it. I think that's well, because you can only have 3 wounds, right?
Correct. So
Yeah.
he's
So it's,
top
I
fill.
don't. Yeah, I don't need it to be like no. It removes 4 wounds, more wounds than you could possibly have. Uh, so yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Just well, I think we ought to say that because it's Stephen, because it's this sort of this person I've given uh, a sense of responsibility to, that I feel responsible for them. So of course I had to, I had to knock it out of the park. I had to be like, all right, you, I know we did the pep talk, and I want you to see, the potential that exists in all of us. But for God, Gerd, darn it, like, don't be a fool. And I think we probably like say all of that under our breath, and then immediately when we're done with the healing spell, just give him a little smack on the cheek, just like tap him, just all right, up you go, up you go.
I love that. I love that. And I like the idea that there are arcane words, essentially mumbo jumbo to, Tyler and the refugees around. And mixed in are the God damn it, I know we more arcane words, and it's all scrambled in there. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's like I'd be so damn proud if you just didn't get shot. Well, actually, that would be no, there's nothing here, or Savaga. You little bastard! Like, why you gotta make me worry?
Fantastic. So as you pat him on the cheek, as that rush, that brief glow runs across his skin, his eyes pop open, and he sucks in a deeper breath than the shallow breathing of the unconscious body. And his chest fills, and his eyes look to you and go, "Oh God, what? That you're
Hey,
back."
welcome back to the land of the living, kid.
And he says, "Yeah, didn't realize I'd left. What happened? Bandits, you're here. And oh yeah, there's the glitter boy. Okay, so the bandits are dead? They're all dead, right? They were assholes."
Hey, let's we'll talk about it over a trail mix. And I reach down a hand to pull him back up to his feet and be like, "Oh, come on, you're sitting around on the job."
He's, rubbing at his chest with one hand and slowly reaching for your hand with the other. He's coming to terms with the fact that there is no longer a gaping wound in his chest cavity. And so Tyler, or let's Slash, are you back at the seat?
Yeah, I'm back at the seat.
Okay, great. So we're gonna step to Slash here. You've witnessed a very powerful healing by all counts. Tyler is speaking to the refugees. You are working your way back down out of the air. What's your next move here?
I'm gonna fly down and just talk to Tyler and um, Graham and see what we need to do, because we need to get these trucks running. We need to get the refugees rounded up and everybody who needs to be healed, and we need to get moving again. So
Sure.
what we
So
need to get doing, guys.
perfect. So Tyler, you finish your fact finding with Sarah slash lands. Graham has made it back, and he's done this lay on hands with Steven. Your next priority is the vehicles, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, fantastic. So what we're going to do at this point is in Fantasy Grounds, I'm going to drop the loot into the character window here? The party
Yeah,
sheet
the party
inventory.
sheet.
Yep, here we go. Bandit loot stuffs and fire. All right. So I've dropped the loot into the parcel items there. So that's there, and we don't need to deal with that right now. So moving to the vehicles, it's just, you'll be pulling these bodies out of the vehicles and you'll be working on the machinery. So I wanted to get that part out of the way. For the vehicles themselves, there are two civilian style pickup trucks. One of them is a hover truck, one of them is a wheeled vehicle. So Tyler, as you're, pulling them back up the slope to the road and trying to take a look at what all's broken, what's not, probably pulsing a scan or two through it with the armor, you're feeling like you might only be able to get one of these running again. And then there's also the semi truck that Slash took out the driver and passenger on, that was making its way away from the camp. And then there's the second rig that left with the leader, and there's the third rig that Graham came back on. So you for sure have two working rigs, albeit a little bit messy, and you have two civilian pickup trucks with the windows blown out and the tops blown off, and you think you can only get one of them running. What relevant
Yeah.
skill do you have to, and Slash, since you're down there helping him, Graham, I presume you probably wouldn't be the most mechanically inclined at this point, but Tyler and Slash, what skills do you have that you would be using to,
I've got a
see what you can do?
6 on repair.
And Graham actually has a jack of all trades. So if he can watch somebody working on something for a while, we can make a smarts roll to basically give us a D4 in that skill, or a D6 with a raise. So potentially I could be as useful as Slash at repairing something.
Yep.
Okay.
And Tyler actually has both a edge and has D8 plus 2 because of that edge for repair.
Wow. All right. So our group is actually very equipped to deal with this situation. So, Tyler, if you could go ahead and make me a repair roll, and then Slash, I'm going to have you also make me a repair roll. Tyler with his glitter boy is probably just hauling the two civilian trucks back up onto the street, and then Slash, you're probably looking at that second rig that was stopped with the bodies to make sure it's whole and ready to go. And then Graham, do you need to make a smarts roll to watch someone work with the jack of all trades, or is it just after that, then it's a smarts roll?
So yeah, I have to be either observing or studying a subject or a discipline. Um, and then after, it doesn't say the length of time I have to be studying. It just says uh, you can figure out given a little time and a dash of luck. So if I can watch them work, I could make a smarts roll to try and see if I understand enough about what they're doing to be of use.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, you can watch them both, pulling up the hood, picking around, seeing what's going, what's not. Vehicle engines are actually relatively straightforward if you aren't actually stripping them down. You're just trying to get the parts back together. So it looks like we have a 6 from Tyler and a 5 from Slash. Both of those are going to be successes. So Slash, your rig looks like it can definitely run again. It was driving and it just cruised down to a grinding halt and then cut off. You're pretty sure it just stalled out because the driver was dead. For Tyler, for your piece, you really feel like that first truck could run again, but it's going to overheat because essentially all the fluids were just crushed out of it when the piping cracked due to the shock wave, and that's the one that was next to you when you fired. The other truck that is now a convertible top looks like it can definitely run again. It too looks like it just coasted forward until the engine couldn't get through the soft soil anymore and it ground to a halt. The engine idled itself out. So you feel fairly confident that second one can run.
All right, with the big rigs that we have, can we put the truck that's not running onto one of those?
Yeah. Yeah, you can absolutely just I don't think you'd even need the help of Slash. The Glitter Boy could probably just pick up that first civilian truck and put it on the flatbed of either of the running rigs.
All right, I'll go ahead and do that. So once we get to a spot, we can get some parts and some fluids and fix it back up, so that way the refugees still have it.
There's
Sure.
also the question of is there anything that we could salvage vehicle wise from the cab that they laid the ambush with?
Question.
I mean, and that's like while watching Slash and Tyler work, that is something that I would voice to them. Be like, we should check to see if there's anything we can get out of that.
Absolutely. Like once we get
That's a
up
really
there a
good
little bit,
idea.
I'll take a look.
Mhm. Okay, great. So one of the civilian trucks is loaded onto one of the big rigs, and one of the civilian trucks is running. Both rigs are operable. The one that Graham rode up on and back on ended up saving that vehicle, and the other rig that Slash was cleaning up there. You're really surprised at how much blood is in two human bodies. I tell you, that boom gun man did some work. So we've got the load up. We've got the refugees shaken but ready to continue. Where are we at, gentlemen?
I think once we've got everything loaded up, tally ho up to at least the vehicle up there, and like Graham was mentioning, we can all take a look and see if we can salvage anything. Maybe some of the fluids we can get out of there and piping to repair the other truck, and potentially, and from there get up to what do you guys think we want to do here with those bandits? If they went into a cave system and collapsed the entrance to kind of keep us out of there, we might be safe here, or do we want to keep going a little bit further to get out of range?
I think we pick up stakes and put a little bit of distance, but we don't need to go too much farther today. We weren't planning on going too much further than when we got into this mess, so I think we put in another hour or so, get a just a few more miles away, 2 or 3. I don't think those bandits are coming back. I think they well understand that they're not looking to mess with a glitter boy and a flying titan.
Yeah, I agree. We should definitely keep moving a little ways from here, since we were planning to anyway, until those assholes, for a better term, interrupted our trip. So yeah, let's get them going and let's keep moving for a little bit.
And like, what time of day is it? Like, where are we in the day? Like, would we have been setting up camp soon anyway?
No. So it's a little bit past noon by your reckoning, and
That's right. That's
uh
right.
yeah, Tyler and Slash, you have clocks on your HUDs. So it's about 12:46 right now. It was high noon at the beginning of last session. You went through this combat. We've, spent about 20 minutes with Graham getting back, and then we were hauling vehicles up onto the road, getting everyone situated to go. So it's about quarter to one in the afternoon. You had a little more travel to go, but it has been a hectic day. And then, Graham, you do recall that the village it's past the truck and around the corner, so about 600 yards distant, because the combat was about 200 yards forward, maybe 300 or 400 yards forward. And then the gates were just beyond where that slew truck was. The bandits really did do their job right in front of the gates.
Gotcha. Okay. Then with that in mind, I think I tell him, I was like, let's at least get him moving, get him over to that village or those ruins, whatever they are. We'll take stock there. And if it's a good enough spot that we can defend if they come back in the night, then maybe we, collectively decide if we want to, you know, put down stakes there and if it doesn't seem like a viable option, then we can put a couple more hours in after a little bit of rest. I think everyone maybe deserves a little break.
Sounds good to me. All right. I'll hop back in my glitter boy, and then once I get up to the truck, I'll hop out and see if we can salvage anything from it.
Sure. Okay. So the refugee train moves up the road. Glitter Boy moves up to the fore. And Tyler, can you just what what are you feeling right now as you're walking up ahead of the group back up to the site of the original what you thought was a bandit attack on another group of civilians? What's going through your head as you come around the corner to that scene of the flaming truck and or now smoking truck. It's been probably another half hour or so, and the landslide, and you can still see the divot next to the flatbed where your glitter boy was buried up to its waist. What's running through your head?
Really, the biggest thing at this point is, getting into a battle of this magnitude, which I really haven't been in before. The big bad guy that needs to get taken care of as fast as possible might not be right in front of me. So, kind of thinking through on how Tyler can kind of think through this and be like, all right, do I need to be right here, or do I need to be looking behind us at what's going on to make sure that he's keeping everybody safe as best as possible? And a little bit of anger at himself for kind of failing the refugees a little bit.
Okay. All right. That's pretty powerful medicine there. So, as you come around the corner to the truck, the rig that was set on fire, uh there's that strip of a road that's along the landslide. So you walk right up to the truck there, Tyler, ahead of the rest of the train. Graham, I assume you return to your position, walking with the people at the head. Stephen is healthy, but there are obviously a few of the refugees who are quite shaken because it's been a relatively quiet march, except for that one night on the hillside about a week ago where the bandits attacked you in the woods. And this is just from first the giant worm and now this ambush. There are definitely a few refugees who are feeling it. Where are you at?
Yep, you hit it on the head. He's definitely walking. Uh, Not even, I would say, at the head of the refugees. He's going to let either some of the men at arms or Stephen and like Tyler and Slash be up front. He's going to walk amongst the refugees, and he's definitely like multiple times per this walk doing head counts, like just double
Um,
checking all the numbers, and then just sort of walking through, and a hand on the shoulder here, uh, a little. I suppose like a smile does not translate through these huge ley line walker masks.
no.
Um, I think because he knows that, I think he instead like there's a couple more like clap on the backs to people on occasion
Hmm.
as he walks past, and he just like wiggles his eyebrows at him, just like gives him a double raise, uh, just to be like, "We're good, right? Yeah, we did it. We're all here. We're all together."
Yeah. And the head count is almost like a nervous tick, I should
Oh,
think.
100%. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. All right, great. And then Slash, just real quick, are you back up in the air? Are you walking with the glitter boy? Are you walking with the refugees? Where are you at, Slash?
I'm gonna be just up in the air a little bit behind the glitter boy, a little bit ahead of the group if he's up ahead of the group then, and just kind of keeping an eye ahead of us so I can see anything coming if there's anything that Tyler himself can't see ahead of us.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, Tyler, you roll up to the truck and could you just make me a we don't really have a notice. Oh yeah, notice. Yeah, can you make me a notice roll as you roll up
Absolutely.
and you're perfect with a oh man, with an ace.
An
Okay.
8.
Fantastic. So an 8 is one raise over a basic success, and with that notice, you see that the fire and flame damage was actually mostly superficial, and that is, there's a lot of salvageable material on the truck because there was almost no fire within the hood The paint is peeled, the old blue paint of that truck. It was an old flame paint job on an old big rig. And the paint's peeled and blackened and bubbled, but it looks like they laid maybe cloth or grass or something fibrous across the hood and the roof, and it was lit on fire. So you're fairly certain you can probably just rip the guts out of that hood and maybe get to the village. And you too, now that you're standing at the truck, as you look over with less smoke in the air, you can see the gates of that northern pass just ahead of you there.
All right. Well, once I get up there, like I said, I'll get out of the glitter boy, start salvaging what I can, and then when the trucks get up here, kind of throw it on. And then, hey, Slash or Graham, do you want to check what was in the boxes in the back and see if there's anything useful in there while I'm doing this?
Yeah, I'll jump on. I'll come back down and start going through the boxes in the back to see what's in them.
Okay, fantastic. So as Tyler starts to work his way through the hood of that semi or that rig there, quite successfully, Slash, you get up onto the crates and you see the crispy remains of the bandit who was on the back of the crates, and you realize that Graham may have been there while this body burned, but this is the gentleman that you shot in the back and fell over the crates. You start to bust those open. It's no issue with your power armor as Tyler starts to pull pieces out of the truck, and you realize he's actually just reaching in with his hands and snapping pieces up, but you know that a power armor pilot knows his way around some machinery, so you're not too worried about it. It just seems very aggressive. Maybe he's letting off some steam. As you bust the crates open, you see that all 5 of them are empty. There's nothing in any of the crates on the back of the truck.
Well, Tyler, we don't got nothing in any of these. They didn't have anything with them.
So it was just a diversion to keep us away. Man, I am not happy with these bandits.
Can you make me a smarts roll, Tyler?
I can certainly do that.
Good grief.
That would be an 11 with an ace.
Yeah, a very healthy roll there with that ace. And you flipped the hood up and you actually kind of bent it too far, ripped it off one hinge as you were just sort of letting off some of that pressure. And you see that the body that was on top of the hood, if you recall, there was one body on the ground with the door hanging loosely on a hinge and one body on the hood. And you see that that body on the hood is actually just a bundle of the same material that's on the hood, and it looks like the head was just a ball of meat on a stick, and now it's charred and blackened. You don't think that was a person, and you don't think the other body that's now buried by the landslide was a person at all. With that raise there, you feel very confident that this was a setup, especially since Graham told you that there was no child. It was just a device. It's
Well, if
been
I
itching at the back of your mind, and now you're sure.
Yep. Yeah, I'll take a look at that meat that was on the stick. Now that it's been cooked, does it look like it's edible?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely some charred pork right there. You knock off the blackened on the outside, and you're probably fine.
All right. So I'll set that aside and might eat that a little later.
I think Graham will let Tyler have the bandit meat.
Does the glitter boy have smell sensors? I wonder now. Would you know it was pork?
That looks kind of tasty there, Tyler.
God.
Well, at
Of
least we got
course,
some.
Slash would eat it, being a mercenary.
I mean, it looks edible, so why not? We'll see what happens afterwards.
From the inside of his cockpit there. The modulation is fantastic. So, Tyler, you're pulling pieces out of that hood. Slash, you found the empty crates, and you're kind of standing there watching Tyler pick up the meat, hold it up to the glitter boy helmet, and then set it aside like he's going to save that. And there's the comment. Graham, you're coming up with the refugee train. You're now starting to work them along the landslide. I presume it would be, the trucks creeping along with people, the able-bodied on the low side watching the wheels, as traditional rock crawling / 4x4 wheeling goes. So,
Sure. Yeah, definitely a little bit of like, idle encouragement as they move along,
mhm,
watch your
mhm,
step, everyone, be careful. Help
mhm,
those with you, help the elderly, the young, etc.
mhm. And with every affirmation that you give, every sort of mention, the people look to you and smile and nod, and then uh Tyler, as they're going past behind you along the front of that truck, because they do have to dogleg around you to get back to the road, you notice, you didn't notice at first, but after about the sixth or seventh refugee, you notice that each of them is touching a hand to the back of your thigh, which is as high as they can reach on the glitter boy. Some of them reach the hip, but they're touching you almost like a football team touching a sign as they run out onto the pitch. And Slash, you see this going on, you see Graham speaking to them, and how do you feel about this as you see these, you recognize sort of these I'm sorry, I've lost the word, but these rituals, as you see these rituals going on, you see them nodding to Graham and thanking him, smiling him, you see them looking over and smiling at you, and you see them touching Tyler's armor as they move along towards the village gates. What's going through your head?
Just glad that we could keep these people protected, and that it really shows that they appreciate that we're helping them move along, and it makes me want to just keep them protected and make sure they get to where they need to get to before we go move on with what we're doing.
Nice. And I feel like that speaks to who Slash is as a human being. You talk a lot about him being a mercenary. That comes up every session. Sort of the gun bunny of the group. But I think that gives us, peels back a layer of the onion there. So as we move forward, Tyler, the one of the rigs starts to roll past, and you just pick up this double armload of machine parts out of the hood of the burned rig, or what you thought was a burned rig, and it was just a ruse, a trap. And you drop it into the bed of the smaller truck that's on top of the big rig, because the rest of the room has been taken up by the elderly and the, combat wounded from the Tolkien War, the wounded refugees. And with that, I think that we move on to the gates of the village. Does that sound about right to everyone?
Sounds right.
Sounds
Great.
right.
So we come up to the gates here. Slash, did you get back in the air, or are you going to walk up with the group?
I'm going to walk with the group for now since we're so close to the gate.
Okay, fantastic. There's no one at the gates of North Pass, and it's not like it's a gate that's closing off the mountain pass, but it's rough cut stone, white stone from the surrounding valley. There's some clay, some marble, some just odd different mix of stone cut from around the surrounding valley that's thrown together to make sort of a gate. And it's nothing that could keep anyone out. It's more symbolic. It's an archway with two walls on either side as you walk up to it. And as you get through, you see that this village, quote unquote, because it's not ruins, the village is very small. There's a few large warehouses, a small bar, you think, down at the end of the road, about 50 yards away. But in the foreground is a two-story longhouse with rooms painted neatly over the door. All caps, ROOMS. And there are various smaller dwellings lining the streets, and nothing approaching an orderly fashion. But there are a few beat up vehicles in town, and they all look pretty damaged as you look at them trundle through the street. And maybe at the edge of usefulness? And there are several horses, but they're all old. And I'm going to drop. Yep, this is the right file. Go ahead. This town is so small, you don't actually have to be in the air slash, but there's a map now dropped into our Fantasy Grounds chat for you to pull up. And you guys can kind of see what you're looking at. You've entered on the lower portion of the road.
I think you might need
And
to share it out with us. So if you right click in there and share map, because it's
sure, okay. To
There
keep
it is.
sharing and share record. Bam.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, try and reopen that. Icy.
yep,
It came up.
yep. I got it now.
Yeah, we all got it now.
Okay.
So what was that description? You said we're coming in from which area?
So you're coming in from the bottom of this photo. You're coming in from the north side. Again, we're heading north to south down towards New Mexico. And so off to the left, those are some trees and a rocky field in a lower portion of the mountain shoulder. Off to the right, you've got a couple of hills and peaks as the rocks rise up there to the right. And then we have the road and the few large warehouses, the smaller buildings. And then I'm just gonna grab a can I get a pen here? Bam, drawing and enter drawing mode. So this here is that longhouse with rooms painted on it, and you can see it's painted on the short edge of this structure. If you look to the top right of the map, I've drawn a little arrow at the corner. And then you think that might be a bar almost directly across the street from the building with rooms painted on it. But the rest of the structures, again, ramshackle, odd shapes, have no signs on them or anything like that. And the three large warehouses, you assume, elephant barns, no signs again, no labels, nothing. And there's a couple small vehicles. I'll draw an X here in that intersection up to your right. There's a couple small vehicles moving through town, one moving out and one moving up away from you, but they are rattling along at a whopping 10 to 15 miles an hour. They are not moving quickly at all. Just barely operational.
Okay, but this is definitely not kind of the ruins that we originally thought were here. It's kind of actually like a little village type of idea.
Correct. It is a little village, and you do recall Slash not getting a clear reading. So it was either ruins or a small village, and it turns out it's a small village, just a very poorly built one. It's you're not sure what kind of guardianship this village could have provided to the barony of Pride Shield.
Hey, you do your best in the apocalypse.
That that sums it up, folks.
What? Well, let's go in and see if we can maybe get the rest of the supplies we need to fix the last truck. Figure out where we're at and how far we're away from Pride Shield, and see what the refugees want to do, and see if we can put them up for the night somewhere in town, potentially, like in one of the barns or something like that. What do you guys think?
You know what, Tyler? I don't care what Slash says about you. You're not a dummy.
Well, he might not be wrong entirely, but we do our best, like you said, during the apocalypse.
And then I think that Graham like makes a show of like, well, I'm just joking with you. That he doesn't say that. At least I don't think so.
I mean, maybe.
Not to me, anyway. Like just over explaining that it's a joke. You know what I mean?
Sure. Like almost awkwardly, right? Like to the point
Oh
where
yeah.
it's just Okay. All right, fantastic. So you head into the village. The cars stop in the street. There weren't a lot. There were probably three vehicles moving. But as the glitter boy strolls into town, the cars stop where they are. The one guy on his horse is kind of just sitting there slack-jawed, leaning on the horn of the saddle. And you make your way over to the rooms building or the bar building. There are vehicles parked in front of both and horses parked in front of both. And again, there's no vehicle or horse that's worth writing home about. But there's no activity in the houses. There's doesn't look to be any kind of even a general store here. It's a little odd. Just sort of the three large warehouse buildings, the rooming house, and the inn. Everything else looks like a residence. You're pretty sure.
All
I
right.
mean, honestly, if there was anyone in the street, you know, like just passing by on like the vehicles or the horses, particularly the horses, since they could, you know, more easily maybe hear us, I think would have pointed out one to Tyler and be like, flag that gentleman down and ask him if there's any services in town, maybe.
All right.
There's no need to flag. That horse and man are just, there's one guy on a horse. The other three things moving in town are vehicles. And he's sitting there slack-jawed watching you, the glitter boy. They aren't looking at the refugee train. They are staring at you. Walk up to him.
All right. I'll walk right up to him, unless he takes off bolting, and I'll get up close to him, and I'm actually gonna open the front of the glitter boy while I'm sitting in there, so I can talk to him directly. Uh,
That's perfect. I love that idea, that sight of like just giant power armor trundling over to this dude on a horse, and then it cracks open.
I'll be like, "Excuse me, wondering if I can ask you a question."
He sits there and he doesn't actually respond. He just nods.
Where can I go to possibly get some supplies and see if we can find a spot for my friends back here to sleep for the night?
They, uh,
Graham waves from back over by the refugees.
you see his eyes shift over as he goes, and he comes back to you. Are you a real glitter boy?
That I am. That I am.
Did you fight 1,000 years ago? Or, I mean, maybe it was like 100, but no one's real clear on the details. Are you like a real glitter boy?
I'm one of the newer generations of glitter boys. Not. I keep to the same ideals from back then. So if you're familiar with them, I'm on the same side as them. But no, I didn't fight the demons that came through and all that fun stuff. It'd have been great to be there to make a difference, but I'll do what I can now.
I don't. I don't think great would be the word.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. Just like, I don't think anyone would really want to be there, except for Tyler. Tyler definitely would want to be there. I get that.
Yeah, heard. I don't think great'd be the word, but I guess it'd be tough to be alive you know, more than 99 years later, 100 or 1,000, whoever be counting. What was your question again? Sir, Glitter
Uh,
Boy, sir?
I'm just wondering where we can go to get some services here. So my train back there is going to need a place to sleep, and maybe need some supplies, and wondering where I can go to chat with someone about that type of stuff.
Sure. The bar's probably the best place. That's kind of where everyone gravitates to. We got quite a few people coming through town, and we got bandits on the road. Did you all run into them?
Yeah, we did. There's a few less of them.
Oh, well, now that's good to hear. They've been plaguing us for a couple of days now, and it's been a mess. But head on into the bar. There'll be someone there who can probably help you out.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And if you see any of those bandits, you can probably find me pretty quick. And again, my name's Tyler. And I'll go to the bar. And I'm guessing because they have horses, they've got a place to tie up the horses. And I'm gonna get out of my glitter boy,
Please,
close it up.
please tell me that you're going to tie up your
I
armor.
I was yep. I grab a rope and I tie it around my hand, and then I tie it to the horse tie up post, and then wave over to Slash and Graham, and I probably radio over to Graham. Hey, do you want to like have them stop like in that green area just to the south of the inn, and have them kind of hold up there for just a little bit till we figure out what's going on?
I think I I think it takes a second for Graham to respond because he's not that far away. We have moved the entire train into the town, so we're not far behind. And I'm watching you tie up yourself, basically in the way that Graham thinks about it. It was like you are the power armor, uh, and then step out. And so much like the yokel, I think he takes a minute before he can register your question. Uh, and then he will flag over Steven again and be like, all right, let's let's get our boys and maybe some of these vehicles off to the side here, and we'll circle up the metaphorical wagons for a minute and see what's what in this town.
All right. Very cool. The you see the man on the horse ride off as you start to go through your tying up there, Tyler, and he actually stops at the house across the street at your 1 o'clock from the bar, and he goes, "Oi, Reba, I done met a real glitter boy." Just out there in the street, just shouting at the house. He doesn't go up, knock on the door, nothing. And as we move forward there, the refugee train pulls up to that space with the star. The trucks get parked, the people get organized, they kind of settle into their spot. There's one or two of the men and one of the women who are kind of like, "Oh yeah, bar, I'm gonna head over there," and the rest just seem happy to be in a safe, quote quote, space. And so, Slash, are you going to keep your flying titan on? You're just about human sized if you drop your wings down. If I recall, the power armor is fairly tightly fitting. It kind of spans the gap between body armor and power armor. And you see Tyler going through his ritual there as he pushes the chest plates open, gets out and ties it to the post. And Graham's
Oh,
walking
wait,
over to the
wait.
bar.
I hate to interrupt, but can we establish that Glitter Boy power armors, not unlike modern cars, have like a clicker for to lock and unlock? Can he please make a meep meep right
I
outside
was
this bar?
I was gonna get to that as I get out of the glitter boy. I tie it up. I grab my clicker exactly like you said, and I'm like, "All right, good horse. Now you stay." Beep beep. And then I turn around and I like flare my legs out like bow-legged riding a horse, and I start strutting myself into the bar.
Jesus Christ, it's perfect. Thank you so much.
So Graham, where are you like as Tyler is about to push the bar doors open? Where are you? And they are definitely swinging saloon doors in the classic sense.
I think I had my own idea of a little bit of like a little scene for Graham while this is happening. I think
Yeah,
we talked about the head count and that being sort of like a nervous tick. I
sure.
think that Graham like tries to reach into his robes and his armor somewhere, and is looking to grab uh, uh, I think he legitimately probably had a clipboard that had all of the refugees, all of the men at arms, Graham, himself, Tyler, and Slash on it, and like just has like their names, probably like age, like a few pieces of information, relations in the refugee train. And I think that he probably left it on one of the trucks, and it probably got taken.
Ooh.
So like he that's
Mm.
why he was especially doing this head count constantly, because he doesn't have his clipboard to like check him off with anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he suddenly remembers, he like pulls out a tiny little notepad, like just a memo pad, and is furiously like recreating it basically in like the tiniest shorthand. Uh, just like just whipping through it. Uh, and he doesn't want it's difficult for him in this moment because he doesn't want to leave the refugees alone, but he also doesn't trust Tyler to not cause a scene anywhere he goes, basically. So I think he's like hustling from that grassy area to the entrance of the bar to try and make it in the doors as quickly on the heels of Tyler as possible, while still like he's walking, writing, and looking back like every 2 seconds.
Nice. That's fantastic. And Slash, are you keeping your armor on, or and where are you? Are you sort of on Tyler's heels? Tyler's obviously point man here. You were sort of walking with the group. Are you going to head into the bar? Are you going to stay with the refugees? Where are you at? And are you staying in your armor?
I'll if I can get a second, I'm gonna actually get out of the armor, and I just kind of shake my head as Tyler walks into the bar, just kind of laughing, as that's pretty hilarious to me. But my armor also, I close it up, and I have a little clicker too We'll kind of lock it. It's next to Tyler's, but it's not quite as glorious or as showy, but it's there next to it. Just kind of rude to go inside with such a huge honking thing on. So
and you don't talk to it. You don't say "good horse, now stay."
no, I just close it up and click it locked so it doesn't get stolen by some bandit.
This is great. Tyler, you bust through. I assume you're doing the 2-door push, 2 hands, Aragorn, slamming those doors open into the saloon, John Wayne stepping into the bar. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, Tyler, like coming into town, and there's people riding horses and stuff. He just got into it. It's perfect.
Yeah,
And so
somebody already made you a celebrity basically when we got here, and that's a part of the reason why I think Graham is like hyper aware of not wanting you to do things alone.
so yeah, I full on slam the doors open, and I step into the room, and I just slowly, squint my eyes and slowly look around the room.
Fantastic. And looking back at you are a couple tables of people playing cards, a couple tables of people hard drinking. You notice that one of them is all women, and there are empty shot glasses littering that table. And there's a couple old cats at the bar, the old barflies. And there's nobody playing a piano. There's nobody standing, up on the stairs looking down at you, no madams or anything. But there's the 3 or 4, or excuse me, 5 or 6 tables, because there was a couple playing cards and a couple hard drinking. And there's the bartender behind the bar. And so, you got about 14, 15 people who kind of snap up and go, eh?
And then from there, as I look around, I'm gonna look back as Graham and Slash come in and kind of stand up straight and be like, "All right, I think we need to talk to some people and figure out where we can put people up."
Yeah, I think as soon as you did the dramatic like double open of the doors, Graham's pace like accelerates just nervously, like. Yeah, no, I think let's have a drink, as it were. I think we deserve one.
All right, so I'll walk up to the bar, and I'll kind of wave at the people as I'm walking in, like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you, nice to meet you," and pull up a stool at the bar and kind of do finger guns at the two the two or however older gentlemen are there, and nice to meet you, and uh look at
Graham
the
very seriously considers slapping your finger guns out of the air.
Slash is just laughing, just having
Like,
having a great time watching
like
Tyler.
absolutely. And I don't think it's like anything against him. I think Graham is just like very uh anxious about this situation in here, whereas like Tyler is absolutely not, obviously, and Slash probably couldn't care less. He's probably been in tons of podunk towns traveling through on mercenary work, but for Graham it's just like, this is a social situation that we must navigate correctly, and finger guns are not a part of it. But he doesn't say anything.
and I'll look at the bartender. Could you get a drink for me and my compatriots here? And once we got that, I got some questions about services and things in town. If you could help us with it.
The bartender, you see, doesn't just move his eyes. He like turns his whole head to look at your glitter boy out the window, looks back at you, and he doesn't nod, he doesn't say a word. He just leans over and comes up with 2 bottles and sets them on the counter. He doesn't pull out glasses or anything. He just sets 2 bottles on the counter.
And I'll as he looks out, I'll turn around and look back and like, "Oh, you like my horse Patty?"
He looks back, he goes, Patty?
Yeah.
I think even Graham goes, Patty.
Well, every horse needs a name, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Tyler. Yes.
Yeah, and the bartender's right there with you, Graham. Yeah, every horse needs a name. Yeah. And then he goes down the bar and he leans over and starts whispering to one of the old guys.
I'll look at the bottles and Tyler's mainly
Whiskey.
been, yeah, he's not been a big go to the bar type of person. He's been mainly kind of his background is repairing stuff. He's a big repair person. He's helped out, he's got healing and that type of stuff because he likes to help people, and mainly through that he's, kind of gotten where he's been. And he's gonna look back at Graham and Slash and just go, what are we supposed to? Are we just supposed to drink it straight from the bottle? Like, what do I do?
Slash just grabs one of the bottles out of his hand, pops the top off it, and takes a big swig of it and says, "Whoo, some good stuff." Hands it back to him.
Tyler looks down at the bottle and looks at Graham like with questioning eyes, and then puts it to his mouth and then takes a big swig. And I'm guessing because he's not a huge, like, gone to the bar, done that type of stuff, he ends up in a choking fit.
I think before you did it, and when you look at Graham, I think Graham's got a very similar look on his face because, like, his world is academia. He spent years at the college in Tolkien. That was his place of work. He was around students. Like trying to act as a role model. So I think he's probably the exact same boat. Like maybe as a young man he did more drinking, but like this is not his game either. So I think you guys both have the same look on your face. And if he sees you just start getting into a hacking fit, I think he just holds up a hand of like, no, I'll pass, thank you.
And I'll
Nice.
come back up
Slash
slapping
just
the
kind of
counter,
laughs.
slapping the counter and being like, good stuff.
I love it. Yeah, Slash, you don't flinch at all. Slash's delivery is like cast iron. Like you think it really is good stuff when you go into that, and there you are hacking afterwards. Oh man. So with that in mind, you're all there. We have the scene over the bottles, and the bartender pulls off of the two old guys and goes in back. It's not hurried or anything suspicious. He just, gets up, grabs a couple glasses, two handfuls of glasses, and walks off into the back. The two old guys are kind of sitting there looking at you out of the corners of their eyes, and everyone at the tables has kind of just gone back to what they're doing.
All right. Mr. Bartender, by the way, I'm Tyler. If, uh, had some questions for you about. We got a whole group of people coming with us. We're kind of gonna end up moving through town, but we need to be set up for a little bit. Talked to a gentleman out on the road. Said this would be the best place to come figure out where we can set some people up and.
Bartender the bartender jumps in as you're coughing there and says, yeah, talk to old Glenn there. He'll set you straight. I gotta get to washing these dishes here. And he nods his head over, and it's the older guy nearest to you three.
I think Graham will grab the second bottle that has not presumably been opened yet, uh, and walk over and set it down over by this older gentleman, and be like, "You like whiskey, old Glenn?"
Oh, Glenn, kind of, he's not even looking at you, Graham. He's staring at the glitter boy. And you walk up, you set the bottle down, and it's until you say, like, he's still not looking at you, and then you say, "You like whiskey, old Glenn?" And his eyes snap to you, and he reaches over and grabs that, and he's like, yeah, I love it. What's going on?
Uh, just based off of your little portrayal of him there, does this individual look pretty sauced up already, or what?
Oh yeah, yeah. He definitely looks like he's been going. He's a
Oh
day
boy,
drinker for sure.
that's right. It's probably like what 1 p.m. right now.
Yeah, no, it's like just after lunch. You know, this is one glass of wine out of the office time. This is not two bottles deep, you know, middle of the day time. It's wrong. It's
Gotcha.
all
Yeah.
wrong.
Uh, I think. So, well, Glenn, sir, my name is Graham, and I'm traveling with these fine compatriots here. My good associate, Mr. Froman, and our esteemed colleague Slash. And we hear that you're a man with some means and some supplies and perhaps equipment that travelers like ourselves may be in the market for, as it were.
Well, I don't know about all of that. I live down the end of the street, but I tell you what,
By all means, sir, please tell me what.
we don't got much of nothing. Yeah. The
No,
bandits
no,
blew through
surely.
here and I mean it was just a couple days ago, but the bandits blew through here and they took just about everything that wasn't nailed down. We sent a messenger to the capital late yesterday hoping we could get down the mountain, you know, maybe he'd make it safely in the low light. But I mean, I figure help should be coming any minute now. I swear it's just a couple days ago we done sent him down. But we really don't got much of nothing. Warehouses, that's where we kept it all, and they's empty. They's real empty. It's been a real pinch point for this town.
Now, Mr. Glenn, some of that information is rather disheartening. I won't lie to you. I wouldn't do that to someone of your countenance. But now that last part there sounds rather negotiable there. Uh, it sounds like you have some very large spaces where a number of objects, or in this case, people, could be placed, and there's currently nothing occupying those spaces. Now, who could we talk to see about maybe renting one of those warehouses for the evening? Hmm? See, we can get some money back in this town here, and perhaps we can talk about some of those other issues here. We could be of service, I think.
Rent, rent, and Benny, they want to rent it. He turns back to you and he says, "You know, Pride Shield's only a little less than half a day from here, but you can rent the warehouse if you want. Y'all that tired? It's only a little mountain on the way up here, you know."
Sir,
And
I might tell you that we have had quite a day, I think. Yes.
well, I expect ain't nobody gonna say nothing if y'all step on in there.
I think at some points, Graham, I think maybe even looks at Tyler or Slash, uh, because I don't, as a myself as a person, I don't have any trouble, but I kind of like the idea if Graham thinks that this person's accent is a little thick and indecipherable at times. So I think I like look at Slash and be like, he did say that they're free, right?
Yeah, he did.
I give him thumbs up and just side.
Perfect. So with that, you know, Glenn's kind of weaving on his stool there. He's ripped that ripped that cap off the second bottle. Ripped that cough. Good God. Ripped that cap off the second bottle, and he's you know taking a couple of swigs there as you're finishing up talking. And so you flash that thumbs up back. Do you have anything else to say? Because he's not talking on his own. You definitely
Right,
feel
he's
like
not
he needs
terribly
some company.
forthcoming. Um, I think, yeah. Well, I think I'd sort of run through like a mental checklist again and be like, what are our priorities? Like, we need a place for our people to rest. and a warehouse is perfectly suitable when you got 30 people. I'm assuming that just from eyeballing the longhouse that they would not have enough rooms for 30 people.
So yeah, no, you're just from an eyeball, definitely not. The longhouse, if it is empty, looks like it could house ah, 2 per room. Maybe it could get up to 16 people, 14 to
Yeah.
16.
That was sort of my assumption, and we could like probably triple bunk them or something like that. Like we could probably work something out. But if those warehouses are empty, our people have been accustomed to, just camping in the woods basically, or in the wilderness. So I think the warehouse is perfectly a decent idea, especially if like this man seemed to imply that no one would care if we were just sitting in there.
Sure. So, if Graham, if you're gonna head out and kind of eyeball one of these warehouses, is that where you're kind of what you're doing?
I think we're making a note to do that. I think the other thing is just we're also looking at trying to find material to repair um, the truck that we do have on the back of the big rig. We do need supplies, and I think he's probably putting together that there might not be anything really at all in this town anymore if the bandits took it. Um,
Yeah,
but
go ahead and make me a smarts roll real quick.
yeah, I think he's at least going to ask the guy. I think he's going to be like, "There's no current services or supplies in town, but no, let me make that roll for you." That is a crit failure, my friend.
Yeah, that sure is. So crit failure on the dice. That's a 1 on the wild die and a 1 on the stat or skill die. So crit failure, and you ask him what?
I think that I think I set myself up perfectly already for this. It was like I think I have no idea what this gentleman has said. Uh, I think I like cannot decipher his accent, and so I think that immediately after I asked Slash for like confirmation of like you said the warehouses are empty, um, I ask him about supplies, and whatever he says, I don't understand it.
Yeah, so you ask him about supplies and he like spits back at you in his drunken slur, and it's a dialect that you're not familiar with being from up north in Tolkien, and you just catch nothing. You catch absolutely nothing. Slash Tyler, you're standing, or you're down the bar. Slash, you're standing. Tyler, you're sitting at the bar, just a little ways down, and you heard him say, "Oh, yeah, there's nothing left here. You gotta go down to Prashia." And you kind of see Graham like standing there, like his head is shaking just a little bit, like left to right, like eh, ah.
Ah,
Yeah, I think
Graham,
he's
you
just sort
said
of like
they
mumbling
just
under
don't
his
have
breath.
nothing.
There we go. I think Graham's just like, okay, okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, sure. I totally understand what he's saying. Just sort of nodding along. And then he like out of the side of his mouth is like, thank you, Slash.
A translator for the drunk at the bar.
I
So
think the next thing then if he tells us that there's like nothing in town, it's it's council time. It's speak to the triumvirate and be like, okay, we can definitely rest here for the evening. That's no trouble. Could probably at least get some food or drink and some friends. But we really need to take stock of everything that was taken. We may not have much farther to travel, but we need to have something, um, so that if anything does go wrong or if we're delayed for any other reason, that we're not, you know, sitting there starving in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it also sounded that he was saying that Pride Shield is only uh like half a day away. So that's the nice
I
thing. So
Yeah.
I think if we rest up tonight and do some finalizing of repairs and stuff like that and see if we can get, like you said, some supplies just to make sure we don't end up in a real bad spot.
I
God
would.
sakes.
You could really stop drinking that. I don't think anyone's going to be offended. Uh, but
it's
also, I don't know if I 100% trust the distance calculation of the regular drunk at the bar.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I'll I'll flag the bartender down. Uh,
Sure.
s- Sir, two things. One, kind of heard, was it Glenn here? Mentioned that Pride Shield's only half day away. Can you, uh, is that true or is that a little, uh, that's as the crow flies or that's with a really fast horse or, what is that distance away from here?
The bartender has bags under his eyes, but his eyes are not bloodshot at all. And just, at a guess, you'd say he's definitely just tired and not actually drunk. And he looks you in the eyes as you ask him the question. He's like, "Oh yeah, Pride Shield is 4, maybe. Look, it's probably about 3.5 hours away if you were to power walk it, but she's about 4.5 hours away, getting down the mountain there. You get on a fast horse, maybe 2.5 hours.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate the confirmation. And secondarily, uh, the what what we've been drinking here. What do I owe you for that?
That's you you don't you is that a glitter boy outside? Is that power armor? Is that a glitter boy?
Uh, that's definitely Glitter Boy armor. Yep, and definitely mine.
You drink for free, my friend, but that second bottle that old Glenn there's got, you owe me about $10 for that.
Okay, I can pay for that. Uh, and thank you very much for the first bottle. I'm not sure exactly why it's free, but okay, I appreciate it.
You're not sure? You're not sure. Are you a
No,
glitter boy,
I think Graham is gonna like slip his hand like or his arm around Tyler's shoulder and be like, uh, our brave hero here is just humble. You know, he's so accustomed to his position, if you will, that it just doesn't register for him. Make no mistake, this man here is a hero. Is uh, head and shoulder above the rest. You know, he is the pilot there, and he is just uh, a force of nature.
Bartender taps it, lays a finger against his nose, says, "I see. You're a humble boy. Yeah. No, that first bottle's free for any glitter boy that comes through my little village here up in North Pass. Y'all are fine, and I'll take that $10 most kindly, sir.
yep, and I'll
Y'all
pull
gonna
out 10.
head down to town, or y'all gonna move over to a warehouse here? I heard you talking to old Glenn. Town's right around the corner."
I'll kind of
We're
look at
still
Glenn
measuring
to
our
answer that
options.
one.
I think we're weighing our options here. We may stay here or press on. It's we're not certain yet.
Tyler, you gonna pull out that money and give the man his due?
Yep, absolutely.
Fantastic. All right. So the three of you are at the bar. Tyler, you have slid $10 across the bar there. You definitely have some small bills, though most of your money is on a credit chip that you keep close to your heart. So the three of you, we kind of have the scene set here. What's the decision of the group?
I
Real quick, before we like collectively work on our plans, does Graham I would think that he might have an idea. Does he understand what it means for Tyler to have this armor and like the history and legacy of all that?
Yeah, especially being an academic at Tolkien, Graham, you recognize what the glitter boys mean. You were a college student, which means that you were working through. Did we discuss? Are you
College
like
college administrator, please, sir.
college administrator? Were you 1 year, 2 year, 3 year? How long had you been working at the college? Were you tenured? What are we looking at?
I think we had talked about the fact that Graham has been there for some time, like probably not originally from Tolkien, but
Yeah.
like
So
migrated there, got a position with this college, and has been with them. I'm going to suggest for like close to a decade, enough to have been known there.
yeah, Graham was definitely a well-known face. So you had been there. Okay. You'd been there probably close to a decade. Let's say 9 years, give or take, which is a healthy stint. After about 2 years anywhere, you're known by everybody for whatever it is you're handling. So you definitely know what glitter boys are about. Just from general knowledge, and then also at the war at Tolkien, glitter boys aligned with Tolkien in the fight against the coalition. For the coalition, glitter boys are shoot on sight because you were freedom fighters from North America in I believe it was called the American Empire pre-rifts. And then when the rifts began to tear open, etc., glitter boys were the last line of defense between the normal humans and what was coming to Earth as we know it. So you're aware. Bottom line, you're aware.
Okay, yeah, and then the follow up sort of to that is, would I think that would cause that Tyler not knowing or not seeming to pick up on why he's already a celebrity. um, I think that would probably raise a little bit of suspicion of like, where did you come by this? Like how, like maybe you're not, part of this chain of custody of these power armors in the same like, did you, if he doesn't know what that's all about, that would like, that would be a question that needs to be answered, so to
I
speak.
would I would
So I think,
immediately temper that with Rift's Earth is incredibly fractious and chaotic, and there are absolutely instances where a father, a mentor, a instructor could not have passed on everything that they needed to fully induct someone in any field, be it glitter boy, magic user, what have you. You definitely ran across a number of magic users who were like, I know I have this talent, I know what I can do with it, but I don't know what it means to be this person.
sure, sure, and I'm tracking what you're saying there. I think that aside, that knowledge aside of like how things can get passed, I think it would still be something for Graham personally to be like, you don't know about this? That's weird to me because
Sure.
Graham needs to know about the things that he's involved in. Like
Sure.
Graham does research. Graham is curious. That's one of his hindrances. He has the major hindrance, curious. Like he has to know the answers to these things. He has to
Sure.
know the secret, the history, the mystery, whatever it is. And the thought that other people don't is probably not something that he can really wrap his head around. Like that, if somebody could just be like, "Yeah, I got a suit of power armor from my instructor. He left it behind," or like whatever the thing is. The idea that they didn't ask more questions is like anathema to Graham. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that probably come up later, but the one thing that Graham would do is like, let's discuss this outside. Let's discuss this, not in the middle of this room with people.
Sure, sure. So we are outside the doors of the saloon unless Tyler slash you have something closing. Slash, do you grab that bottle off the bar as you head out?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that with me.
Yeah, I bet. So all right, we're standing on the porch. We've spoken to the bartender, we've spoken to Old Glenn, the refugees. What are we going to do with the rest of the afternoon? It's about 1:15 in the afternoon here. You know for a fact that Pride's Shield is about a half a day away. For your refugee train, probably 4.5, maybe 5 hours, just a little bit over half a day's work away, half a day's travel. What are we doing for the afternoon slash evening?
I think Tyler would, since they said, yeah, just go ahead and use the warehouses. He, gets out there and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go check out the warehouses because, you know, I think this is hilarious that both Graham and Tyler both have the curious hindrance.
Oh,
And
do we
he
both? You have it too?
yeah.
Shit.
So I immediately go to each and every warehouse and I am looking through absolutely everything that's in there. And like they said that the bandits came through and took everything. So he's like looking what's in there, what looks like was in there, and
Yeah,
starting to
it's
take
really
stock.
funny that you say that because that is exactly the same like mindset that I was going to go with next for Graham is get in those warehouses and try to like reverse engineer like what was probably in here.
So you're
So
like the two of us just immediately, okay, we gotta go check this out. And we
We-
immediately just leave Slash standing on the porch as we run into the warehouse. It's like, what was in here? And
Yeah, and like you know how I was doing the like recreating the clipboard like the roster as I was walking across the street. I've now pulled out another memo pad to do like an inventory list for the warehouses. Like, yeah, I think as completely different as we are in other ways and in many other respects, I think this is a moment where we just absolutely get in sync and we're going through the warehouses together and like I'm pointing out like shelves or like sections of the warehouse and be like, what do we got over there? What do you think that had? You know, like it's got to be like we're doing a back and forth.
and Tyler, one of his comments is as we're going through there, he's looking at what you're doing with your clipboard, and he's like, I have got to get me one of those.
I think I produced like a third one, like just a little. I think he's got like several like memo pads functionally, like just those little tiny ones on him, like at all times. And so like whips out one, just like absolutely, and like tries to hand it over.
Oh, I take it and just start doing the same thing you're doing, just writing down everything. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be so useful.
Jesus Christ!
And while
Fucking
and while this is going on, Slash is just outside on the porch, just leaning against the railing, just like, yeah, well, they can do that. I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna relax and I'm just gonna take a minute and breathe.
This is relaxing.
I love this.
Slash
Y'all
takes
are
out one of
amazing.
his pistols and just starts wiping it off and cleaning off the dust.
I feel like so we've got the railing of the bar, the bottle of whiskey is setting on it, probably about half empty by this time, and Slash is just, he's got probably 3 pistols laid out on the railing, and he's starting to, wipe off. He's pulled a little bottle of oil out of his one pocket, and he's cleaning off his pistols. And the warehouses, you two are going through that, and we're a couple minutes away from the close of our scene here and of our session because one of our players has to step away. We try to keep this to 2 hours for our listeners here. And so we're going to close, I think, on this. This is just too great. The handoff of the legal pad between Graham and Tyler as they go through the 3 warehouses and get the refugees settled. And Slash standing on the porch of the bar, super casual on the porch. Could not be more relaxed, and he's got some firearms laid out, and he's just starting to oil them down. And I think that's where we'll end. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you all in 2 days' time on Monday at 6 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel, the 21st of February.
Well, then, and just to be clear, 6 p.m. Hawaii time. So
Yeah, pardon me.
that's gonna be 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. And
But yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
oh heck yeah!
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun.
We have to spend, I'm going to say right now, the first 15 minutes of the session just hard inventorying all of those warehouses. I want absolute nitty gritty bookwork. This is what I come here for. This is what all the listeners want. They want to know if there were ratchets, if there were nuts, bolts, what kind of food they had in here. We got to get deep into the details, my friends. That is what you have to look forward to.
And combat. We are in the barony of Pride's Shield. This is the North Gate Pass, and we are moving towards Pride's game. We have 30 some odd refugees who have just been robbed, just been ambushed by bandits, and we are moving towards Pride's Shield for Pride's game, the Utopia lottery. that exists in post-apocalyptic Rift's Earth. See you Monday.
Awesome. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you Monday. Later.
Toodaloo.
Later.